Unless you've been living under a rock, every single rumor source is saying that there's a Nintendo Direct this week, and it's looking like it's going to be either Thursday or Friday, but it's looking like Friday based off of some very accurate leaks or rumors from certain leakers. But yeah, regardless, yeah, there seems to be a Nintendo Direct happening this week. I completely believe it, especially since Nate the Hate has pretty much said it. It's happening this week. So we normally do prediction videos or kind of what to expect videos once the thing is announced, which is probably going to be on Wednesday or Thursday. But today, what we're going to do is talk about what could make this Direct the perfect Direct. Nintendo has gone a while being very, very silent, so this Direct has a lot riding on it, with it still being the first year of this brand new console and entering its first holiday season, only on like month 3/4. Nintendo has a lot to unveil for us because there's no huge games on the horizon. The games that are coming have no release dates, and we don't know what to even expect for next year. So Nintendo has to announce some pretty big things here. With that said, what could make this the best Nintendo Direct ever? Well, that's kind of subjective because it depends on who's asking. A lot of people might want different things in a Nintendo Direct, so let me try to put together a Nintendo Direct situation that would be perfect for most people. But first, I want to thank Genki for sponsoring today's video and sending over their awesome Switch 2 accessories. They sent me over their Aegis Shield screen protector and sleeper case. The screen protector comes with a nice little kit giving you step-by-step instructions on how to apply it. It also comes with an applicator unit where you just follow the instructions, place it on your Switch 2, pull the release tab, and then you're good to go. You are for sure going to want a screen protector because there's still lots of cases of people scratching their Switch 2s, taking it in and out of the dock, so make sure you get one of these because it's definitely a necessity. And you also have the sleek, ultra protective sleeper case. The zipper is actually hidden onto the sides of the case for a sleeker, more simpler look. The inside also can hold your Switch 2 games and of course comfortably fit your Switch 2 inside. And they also shot me over their Attack Vector grip case and their Mimic chest game card holder. The Attack Vector can completely cover your Switch 2 screen so that way there's no shattering and also give you an amazing comfortable grip as well. And these grips go separately on the Joy-Con so you can even pop them off and keep the grips on. They also added a MagSafe mount on the back of the Attack Vector that's compatible with their Energy Pack battery banks and also any MagSafe accessories. And in the Mimic chest, you can store all your Switch 1 and Switch 2 game cards within these cases. It comes with 3 cases that can hold up to 12 games each. But Genki also has tons of other Switch 2 accessories on their official website, so make sure you click the link in the description down below and use code Nintendo7 to get 10% off your purchase. And once again, big thanks to Genki for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so the hardest thing for me is keeping this realistic. We want to keep this as realistic as possible while also giving some hype moments because this is about what a perfect Direct could look like. But we also want to make it a perfect realistic Direct. I'm not going to say the perfect Direct because we start with 3D Mario and we end with Smash Brothers and in the middle we have a brand new 3D Zelda that's open world. No, obviously that's just outrageous. Obviously that would be great, but that's not a perfect ideal Nintendo Direct that we would get. So let's start off with the opening. Nintendo wants to open the show with something that's going to be eye-catching, something that they really want people to see. What game is this? I don't think this is their biggest game. The biggest game is always the last game, but this is an important thing. The beginning and end of Directs are your bangers. And I think it might be one of the existing games that we already know about. And I think it's between two. It's between Metroid Prime 4 and of course Splatoon Raiders. These two games I think are the biggest upcoming Nintendo games. Now Prime 4 has had some footage and it's had some smaller trailers, but it's still missing that one big fancy trailer. So realistically they could open the show with this. They could open it up, say like here's the game, and also say like maybe here's a Nintendo Direct coming later, you know, this month or maybe the next month, focused on the game, and just kind of have like a big thing with it opening up the show. But I feel like that might be a middle thing. Something about Prime 4 feels like a middle of the show thing, you know, slow things down, show off the game, maybe show off a fancy trailer and stuff, and then show a Nintendo Direct is coming for the game, maybe once again, the week after or the month after or something like that, depending on when this game even comes out. So I think the show is actually going to start with Splatoon Raiders, and I think it's going to be a huge, big game to start next year. The next big one that we're looking forward to, outside of Metroid, of course. But yeah, this is going to be our first huge 2026 title. Everyone's going to be talking about this game. It's going to look great. They're going to start it off with an amazing trailer to start the show. They can have this giant world that we're traversing. It's just this huge, almost open world 3D action adventure game where we're able to like paint up terrain like mountains and buildings and stuff and climb up them and stuff. It's like this awesome single player experience. And I think a lot of people that are turned off about this game, since it's a spin-off, is going to be immediately interested in this. And I think it's going to grab a lot of people's attention. This would be an awesome way to start the show with a huge game. Even though it technically was already announced, we've seen really nothing of it. It was like a 15-second snippet of like hardly any gameplay. Like there's no gameplay of what we're actually doing yet. Now, we got the beginning and the middle of the show talked about. Now, what else is there? Of course, before we get more into first parties, I want to go over third parties just for a brief second. I'm not a big person when it comes to these third party announcements, mostly because I get all these third party games on other consoles. I don't really get them on my Switch or Switch 2. I just rather play them on my PS5. So it's hard for me to really talk about and even know exactly what it is that we're waiting for to come to Nintendo Switch 2. But like, yeah, I mean, of course, I hope the third-party games are actually bigger and more interesting games, stuff that people actually cares about. Like, we just had a partner showcase as well, so I find it hard to believe that there'd be a lot of filler in this when they had, like, multiple presentations to do that. They had an indie world, a partner showcase. Why in the world would Nintendo just fill this Nintendo Direct with tons of filler? Hopefully the third-party announcements that are here are big ones that a lot of people have been waiting for. And like I said, I'm not going to name them all here right now. There's a bunch of them that people are still waiting on. But yeah, I hope this shows a lot of those big games that we can play on Switch 2 now. Now, of course, it'd be good to have release dates for other games coming out this year, even though we just got information on a good chunk of this stuff. For instance, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment got another trailer just about a month ago in the partner showcase. Then we got a full-blown, almost hour-long presentation for Kirby Air Riders from Sakurai, so I don't see really any of those games having too much time here. But Hyrule Warriors kind of fits in almost like a third-party announcement, so I can see it happening, getting a new trailer and just getting a release date, and maybe they'll have a separate direct for the game later on or something. But in my perfect world, it would just be a brief trailer for Hyrule Warriors that's like somewhere within the third-party announcements, and not like messing up any of the big reveals. And also, I probably wouldn't even touch on Kirby Air Riders at all. And the same thing goes for Pokemon. I'm sure they're going to come in and give us another little trailer, but we've seen enough about Pokemon Legends ZA. There's been multiple Pokemon presents throughout the year talking about the game, so I don't think they necessarily need to touch on it, but they probably want to advertise it. But, you know, in my perfect world, they wouldn't even touch on that either. Now, I believe that's going to be it for the year, outside of like one more thing, which I'm going to touch on at the end of this video. But I think the rest of the Direct could cover some small things happening for next year. For instance, I think a perfect thing would be able to show Tomodachi Life a little bit more. It's a Switch 1 and a Switch 2 game, show that off a little bit. And the same thing with Rhythm Heaven Groove. It's another 2026 game that was announced at like the beginning of this year. So yeah, give us some more information on that. Maybe just a quick couple of trailers for these games. They don't have to dive really deep into them, considering the fact that it's still 2026 release dates for both of these games, but just kind of give us maybe some new glimpses at them. Now, that's a pretty solid Direct so far, but I feel like what would be really good before we move into the final segment of this Nintendo Direct is one more big announcement for 2026. This could be some type of series that we haven't seen in a while, like maybe a new Yoshi game, maybe some type of spin-off series that we haven't seen in a while. I don't really know what that could be, but maybe something, some type of tease, maybe like even an Animal Crossing tease or a Smash Brothers tease, something to get people saying, oh, whoa, what is that about? But it's just so small and so minor. All we can do is just speculate what the heck it was. You know what I mean? But then, to end the show, they'll end it with a Mario presentation. The date being September 8th, Nintendo still has done nothing for Mario's 40th anniversary yet, and hasn't really announced any plans or anything, where back in 2020, they announced it pretty early, the first week of September, around the 3rd to be exact, where we haven't gotten anything yet. Now, there's still a chance that maybe they could throw out like a Mario Direct in the next couple of days before this Direct. I don't know, I doubt it, but there's always a potential. You never know. But what I think is going to happen is if we do not get a Mario Direct before this Direct, the perfect way that they could end this Direct is with like a 10-minute segment focused on Mario and the 40th celebration. They don't have to talk about a whole bunch of things, but could you imagine if they gave us, for instance, a new remake or some type of old game coming back, and maybe it's a shadow drop and it's our September game since we don't have one, like for instance Galaxy 2 coming back in some capacity. Something that I feel like is guaranteed to happen is Mario Kart World getting some type of update, something to keep the game alive, because people are slowly starting to move away, especially with like Sonic Racing coming out. Like, people really love cross-world, so they're gonna have to do something to keep this game alive. So hopefully they add a bunch of new cups for like knockout tours, some new tracks, maybe even some type of, you know, path or timeline schedule, something, so we can see exactly what's happening with this game. Is there going to be constant updates, DLC at all, something to keep this game going, adding new characters and stuff, maybe even new P-Switch missions, something. But yeah, this would be a perfect place to announce it, of course, at the end of the Direct in that Mario segment. I also think there's a chance that in this portion, we could actually get a Mario spin-off game announced for early next year. Something like a sports game, and personally, I'm really hoping for something like Mario Baseball. Would be a really cool little announcement, especially with the recent Tokyo board game coming out of a new Mario Baseball board game, giving DK a new render in that game as well. I think it's safe to say that there could be something Mario Baseball on the horizon. It would also be awesome if they touched briefly on the movie as well for next year and just gave us like the cast, introducing some new characters coming. Like if the Koopalings are there, show us who's playing them and stuff, would be a really cool addition. But then after all of this amazing stuff that we've received in this Direct, the perfect ending, the absolute fairy tale beautiful ending that we could have ever asked for, is they say there's one last thing and one last thing for the anniversary. And of course, it's the first look and first trailer of the next 3D Mario game. It's of course Nintendo's next gigantic game that's going to draw people into Switch 2. It's slated for sometime next year. We don't know. All it says is 2026, and maybe it's just a clip of Mario walking out and you can see the landscape around him and stuff, and that's all we get. But it's just enough to get everybody talking, everybody speculating, everybody ending the show super duper hype. I mean, what better way to end a show, man? Everybody is so satisfied, so excited. All the games coming out have release dates. They all look great. Almost all fans are happy. Metroid fans finally have information. 3D Mario fans finally have their 3D Mario game, amongst tons of other things, like Splatoon fans getting Raiders, and even Tomodachi Life getting touched on, and Rhythm Heaven as well. There's a little bit of everything getting love in this Direct, even Zelda in the form of Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So man, this would be the most perfect Nintendo Direct. Now, do I believe this will happen? No. I don't. I do think a lot of this could be coming true, but I think if I were to be more realistic with this prediction and stuff, I'd say probably just get lots of dates for stuff we already know, just trailers for everything that we already know, even if it's stuff we just got information on, like even Kirby Air Riders, probably going to get another trailer. And I still think outside of Splatoon Raiders, we're going to get another big game reveal for next year, but I'm not confident still it's going to be 3D Mario. It could be something else that it's time for, like maybe Smash Brothers. You know, that could be really, really awesome. Or maybe it's the next Animal Crossing. Who knows? I mean, it's time for a lot of things. Maybe even the next Luigi's Mansion. But, oh man, that 3D Mario to end the Nintendo Direct would just feed, man. I mean, it genuinely would just keep us satisfied for the rest of this year. Playing the games that Nintendo has, excited for the games that are to come. I'm like, man, that would just be beautiful. But of course, it's Nintendo. It's probably not going to happen. But let me know in the comments down below if that would be the perfect Direct for you. And if it's not, what else would you add or take away to make that the perfect Direct? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And I hope you all have a blessed day. See you guys.